Oh, it's been, last year was my 26th year at Bethel.
At Bethel, and then
10 years before
yeah.
that at Friends Bible College, and 2 years before that at a high school in Kansas, and a year before that as a graduate assistant. So it's been quite a while.
39 years, right? That would be.
Something like that.
And I've taught for about the same, just the 10 years at the Bible College and 26 at Bethel.
Dr. Bridges hired us at Friends Bible College back in 1979, and then when he had the opportunity to come back to Bethel, he used to teach here a long time ago. When he had the chance to come back, he told the board he'd like to bring a couple people with him, and that was Marilyn and me. And so that's how we were invited to come back to Bethel and to be part of the ministry and part of the legacy of the school. Wow. Well, it's so much bigger. I mean, when we first went there back in 1989,
89.
I think they were enjoying their second all-time highest enrollment, and it was like 450 students or something like that. I can't remember the exact terms, but I mean, obviously we've grown since then, and the buildings, man, there was not much there at all, and just to see the buildings, and to see the amount of students, and to see the campus become so beautiful has really been meaningful.
And we have chapels now in the Everest Roar building, and before that, when we first came, they were in the old gym on the bleachers, and so it's really nice to be in a beautiful auditorium for chapel.
I think last time we started, we were in the cafeteria,
Oh, that's right.
and they would take down the tables and chairs, and for the service, and then they'd have to hurry up and set them up for dinner. So it was quite different.
Well, I would say since we're both in music, the biggest achievement has been getting accreditation with NASM, as the National Association of Schools of Music. That's a very prestigious accreditation. We're looked at as equivalent to a lot larger schools like Indiana University and Michigan State, U of M. They have all have that kind of accreditation for music. So someone interested in majoring in music really looks at that pretty seriously because it offers quite a bit to them.
Sure, and I just love to see the number of ensembles that have exploded at Bethel since in our time there. I mean, it used to be the choir and a gospel team, and that was about it. And of course, now there's an orchestra and a full band and a jazz band and a jazz combo and a percussion ensemble. I mean, you name it. The Collegians, used to
Voices
be
of Triumph.
part of it. Voices of Triumph. It's just to see the number of ensembles expand has really been something.
Well, I teach private piano to one-on-one students. I don't do any classroom teaching, so my my biggest goal, I think, is to develop the kind of relationship with my students that is more than just educating them in piano music and how to perform, but seeing them grow spiritually through the 4 years I have them, and getting to know them with our beginning of every lesson. I have prayer with them, and we talk about what's going on in their life. And so I really do get to know them after 4 years, and then seeing them bring their 4 years to completion with their senior recital and some of the performance majors with their junior recitals. That just is very fulfilling to me. Sometimes I have students that start out that they're a challenge. They maybe need to catch up a little bit in their classical music, and so there's a lot of pressure on them, and they have to really want that major to practice those long hours. But it's very fulfilling to see them come through all that and then do do wonderful recitals that we can be proud of and they can be proud of.
I think for me is to see the number of students that have become involved in our ensembles. Um, we used to just do a musical every other year, and now we do one every year. And to see the variety of ensembles and to see the number of students partake in those ensembles and quality ensembles, that's probably the main part that I have enjoyed. I enjoy pouring my life into the students at Bethel and helping them appreciate good music and develop a desire for good music and hopefully how to aim for excellence in their own lives. So those are some of the things that I've really enjoyed teaching over the years.
Well, I can say most recently, Bob will probably share this too, but most recently, a year ago, the school honored Bob for 25 years of choir directing, and they had a reunion of all the alumni from the choirs over the years, and that was a big highlight for us, seeing students from the past and putting together a concert and in his honor. That was just wonderful that they had that idea and that we were able to carry that out and that Bob was in good enough health to do that. That was very, very exciting to have that all come together.
I probably have too many experiences. I mean, how do you narrow down that? I mean, I remember 9/11. I remember being in the chapel and just sitting there and watching the news on the large screens and just realizing that our world was never going to be the same since then. I think that will forever be with me. I would agree the 25th anniversary concert in my honor was a highlight of my career, and I will never ever forget it, and I will be forever thankful to the students, faculty, and administration for allowing me to have that. And I suppose just the one-on-one interaction with the students. Now that I'm not there every day, that's probably the thing I miss the most, is my opportunity to pour my life into their lives and for them to absorb all that they can in terms of music and in terms of relating it to their lives and their lives through Christ. It's easy to say we're a Christian college. It's another thing to live it out and to exemplify it in every single way.
I also wanted to add the choir tours are wonderful too. Wonderful memories of each year and some of the exciting places we got to go to Hawaii a couple times and then Puerto Rico and Canada and just all over the country with the students we toured with. Every year was very special and unique in its own way, and Bob and I feel like we could go on choir tours till we're 90 and direct them that long. We just love that experience of traveling with students and being part of their lives that way. It's very different now. Since we've taught together all these years, 36 years, we've done what we've done together. I've taught piano and he's taught choir, and we've been at the same school and neighboring offices. It's very different being up there without him. It was a hard adjustment. He misses it a lot, and I miss him. It's just different and it's difficult, but it's necessary.
Well, Marilyn and I have worked together side by side at 2 colleges in a row now, where I have been department chair and she's been one of the faculty members. Quite often she's been my choir accompanist, and she has been my right-hand person. She's been part of me. Everything we do is together. That together I hope brings some strength. I hope it reflects Christ to the students as far as what a good marriage is like. Um, we just love working together, and this year, with me being home, it's been much harder um, because she's up at school. She's still working hard. She misses me. I'm at home. I'm missing the students like crazy and not able to do what I want to be able to be doing. So we're praying for a miracle and praying that I'll be able to return at some point. But whatever God chooses to do, that's what'll happen. Well, it's. I mean, there are a million things that's taught me. Um, Probably the number one thing has been to live in the moment, live day by day. You can't plan for what tomorrow's going to be like or the next day because you just don't know. So living in the day is the most important thing that I have learned uh, from this cancer.
And no day is like another. Like he's gone through 7 different chemos, I think, and none of them are the same, and none of them have the same side effects, and some are worse than others. And I guess I've learned to limit my expectations on what I should be able to expect from this chemo because it'll just be totally different, or maybe limit what we can do, like going out or being with friends, that kind of thing. I try to not get my hopes up because often it doesn't work out because of the way he's feeling from a chemo. So I've just had to be a lot more flexible in my expectations and what I can control. I've had to release control. I just don't have any. And that's hard for a controlling person like me to just give up that and just, like Bob said, go with the moment and go with each day.
We're both overcoming perfectionists, and that's difficult when cancer pretty much dictates some of the things you can and can't do, and changes the plans, and it's just made it much more difficult.
One thing that comes to my mind really quickly is our pastor. Actually, he's our former pastor now. Every day he sends us a Bible verse over our phones, and it's usually bright and early in the morning because he's a morning person, but every single day there's another verse on there, and that means the world to us because he's not only praying, but he's looking in scripture to find something that'll mean a lot to us, that'll maybe help us through the day. And then all our friends and everybody that supports us through prayer and meals. Meals come pouring in sometimes, which is really great because I don't have a lot of time to cook. So that's a real blessing and a hands-on way that people care.
Yeah, and I would say that students and faculty and fellow staff members, administrators, sending us cards, sending us notes, telling us that they're praying for us. I mean, that is just the greatest gift that you could ever ask for, is to have someone pray for you. And when people say, well, all I can do is pray, no, that's the most you can do is pray. And I'm so very, very thankful for that.
And then we pray, of course, every day about it, but at every meal, breakfast, lunch, and supper, Bob always asks God to take the cancer from him and take cancer from the whole world, to find a cure for cancer. And we never miss a meal. We always, we don't miss a meal usually, but we don't miss praying at a meal, that God would do that.
That's a very good question. Well, for me, I believe that excellence is something we should strive for. That's different from perfection. I certainly don't see us being perfect, but I see us striving for excellence every day. I see us hopefully challenging students to turn their talents over to God and to let Him use them how He chooses to use them. And quite often they end up in parts or roles they never thought they'd be in before, because they were just open to whatever God wanted to use them for. So for me, it would be to challenge students to be open to what God has for them, and then just to go with it, to give it their all, and to enjoy it. And it's a wonderful life. It's when you're doing what God has asked you to do, and you're fulfilling it, and you're getting the opportunities, it just doesn't get any better than that. Cancer or no cancer, cancer can't stop me from the enjoyment that I get out of hearing one of my students perform. We went to a recital the other night and just listened to some fine performances, and just were totally blessed by how much talent there is in the students at Bethel.
I like to think that when I teach, I'm teaching more than classical music, but I'm teaching church music as well, sacred music, all the things that a pianist could do in a church setting, like playing praise and worship music, playing hymns, playing offertories and preludes. So I like to pass that along, because that's what my specialty is really arranging for church musicians and having them play solos of Christian music. And then also just helping the ones that struggle. Not everybody is a born performer, and some really struggle with performance anxiety, and I tend to do that too. It seems like over the years I've gotten a little bit worse in that area, like more nervous than less nervous. But through my experiences, I can share with my students how they can overcome and play a good recital and conquer the nerves, and be able to concentrate on the music and bring off a polished recital. I guess those would be the two areas that I think that I'm passing something a little extra along.
Well, to see students who have very little confidence turn into students who to show confidence is a blessing as a teacher. And it's my hope that my students will surpass me as far as any talent that I have, that they'll be much better conductors than I'll ever be, much better administrators than I'll ever be. That's a real challenge to me every day, is to think, how am I going to get my students to go farther than I am. In other words, I want them to be better than I ever was. In every aspect, I want to see them get better. That gives me a lot of motivation to be ready for them. I'm one of these people who gets up and says, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." And so from the moment we get up, time we go to bed, that day is what God gave us to use. And I think it's really important that we make the best use of every second of every one of those days.
I would agree with everything he said, and I want my students to go beyond what I could do too, and several of them have gone way beyond, and that's exciting to see that I was a part of that and maybe inspired some of their successes.
All right, that's everything I had. So thank you both very much. That was it'll be good to hear from you. Especially, I think students have missed hearing from you, Bob. So it'll be nice to hear from you. So
thank you. I'm very humbled and very blessed that you would ask me to do this, and thank you for some really fine questions that
they were
allowed
well
us
thought
to really dig deep about what we feel about Bethel and her students.